and operators in the captive lion sector may soon be able to exit the industry without having to euthanize the animals. Forestry and Fisheries and Environment Minister Barbara Creecy is establishing a new ministerial task team that will advise her on this. Let's find out more from the minister, who joins us now via Zoom. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Minister, and for your patience. Let's perhaps start with what informed the decision for you to establish a task force to look into this particular industry and allowing the voluntary exit of those who participate in it.
Good morning, Rufewa, and greetings to all your listeners. And I think it's important to remind everybody that last year in May, I announced the results of a high-level panel that recommended the closure of the captive lion industry. We subsequently published a draft policy document that received over 9,000 inputs, and because of the vast array of public interest in the issue of sustainable use, we decided to put out a white paper for public consideration. But in the meantime, I have received a range of letters, some from the captive lion breeding industry, others from environmental organizations, welfare organizations, all asking about what is the way forward with regard to the captive lion industry. And both sides making recommendations about how they think that this industry could be voluntarily managed. And I therefore decided that the appropriate route was to put up a task team so that different interest groups can come forward, can put their perspectives forward, and we can try and find a win-win solution with regard to this situation.
And that win-win solution, Minister, is going to be quite important, because as you talk, I wonder about the economic implications, if any, that the task team will also have to look into as we approach the establishment that you speak about.
Indeed. Obviously, there is an enterprise here, there are jobs here, and in the current climate, nobody can be irresponsible about ending forms of employment. So that also, if you look at the kinds of people I'm looking for, it's also people who would have understanding and knowledge of labor relations. So these would also be important considerations.
What kind of support do those who voluntarily exit the industry get from the department and related stakeholders?
Well, I don't think the department is necessarily offering support, but there have been a range of civil society organizations who've said that they want to offer support. This could be welfare support. It could be, I don't know what other kinds of support, because nobody is actually committed at this stage, but I have had letters where people say they would like to support the exit from this industry. So my view is that let's put up this task team, let's get people to come forward with their proposals, and let's see how we can resolve this matter. There have been welfare agencies who have suggested that some of these animals could go to sanctuaries. There have been members of the industry who say they need these animals to be taken off their hands because they can't afford to feed them anymore. So these are the kinds of solutions that we are looking for.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about the resources in other facilities that would want to take on these animals after those closures. Just based on your engagements thus far, Minister, have you found that there is capacity, there is resources to take care of these cubs and lions that have been part of the industry for so long?
One of the things you would see in the terms of reference for this task team is that we are saying that those who want to participate will have to subject themselves to an audit, both of live animals and also derivatives that they might have in storage. We're obviously doing this because at this stage, we don't know how many animals we are talking about. There are different estimates, but obviously if you're offering support, you've got to be talking concrete numbers, and you have to make sure that these animals are not continuing to breed, and that you're not going to land up in a situation that is not sustainable.
Thank you very much for those insights, Minister. And of course, we'll catch up with you as that task team is established and a way forward is found, that win-win situation you speak about, in that we continue to provide for those who participate in the industry, but also take care of the wildlife as well. That's Forestry and Fisheries and Environment Minister Barbara Creecy joining us this morning.